What's going on, geeks and gamers? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I'm here today with my boy Lethal Lightning. Lethal, how's it going?
Jolly-tastic. I'm 25. I'm old.
Oh God, you are old. But if you guys have seen us before, if you've been to our channels, if you've seen us talk on Geeks and Gamers, you know that we're both huge fans of the Star Wars Expanded Universe, or now known as Legends. You know, everything that happened before Disney took over and decided that they didn't want to use anything there and they got rid of it for their creative freedoms. Meanwhile, they pick and choose little bits of it and try to bastardize it and say, this is what you want, right? Well, not really. And the other day, Lethal DM'd me, because we're always kind of talking about Expanded Universe. He DM'd me and wanted to talk about something. So what was it you wanted to talk about, Lethal?
Well, I'm in the process of rereading the Fate of the Jedi series, that features Abeloth, one of the strongest characters in all Star Wars, period. And I was thinking, as I was going through it, I was like, everyone's always gone on about how people are called, racists and sexists and whatnot when it comes to new Star Wars. And one of those big problems is to do with Rey. People seem to think that because we question why is Rey so powerful, we must be sexist, we must hate women. But then I was thinking, well, no, that can't be right, because here we have Abeloth, who is a female and is godly powerful in Star Wars. I was like, this kind of just proves everything wrong, doesn't it? And then I was thinking, well, what about Natasi Dala? She's like in charge of the entire galaxy at this point as well, and no one hated on her because she was a female. I just felt like, just kind of be a good conversation.
Yeah, and you brought up Natasi Dala. Like, people hated her because she was a great villain. You are meant to hate her, but at the same time you respect her in a way. But she's a really well-written character. She is someone who, interestingly enough, she is someone who they wrote as kind of bitter, being held down because she was a woman in the Imperial Navy. But it's done in a way that makes sense, and it's not something they're trying to beat you over the head with. They're just kind of establishing a little bit of character. And yeah, no one rejected her because she was a woman, because she was a strong leader or anything like that. Not like Admiral Holdo. That would be like an example that I would use for Dala.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, actually. Like, on one hand, you got Natasi Dala, like you said, is written to kind of be hated, but it just makes her a good villain. And we see her story, coming out from the Imperial Navy, like her little flings with Tarkin on the side, that sort of stuff, all the way up to her becoming, leader of the GA, the Galactic Alliance. She's in charge of the whole thing. Whereas Holdo, we're introduced to her, and they mentioned some battle that no one's ever heard of, and we're just supposed to jump on board with it. And then she's going on about, how Poe is an idiot, even though about 2 days ago he blew up the Death Star free, Starkiller Base, whatever it's called. Just comparing the two of them, it's like, well, there's serious issues with the character of Holdo, and not one of them is the fact that she's a female. That's not a problem. And Natasi Dala, she is a female, and she's a strong female character, but you're supposed to hate her. But you end up kind of, when you look back at Dala, you go, that's a good character. That is a well-written character. Holdo, yeah. I can't say the same thing.
Yeah, it's such like this. It's this ridiculous demonization of the side of the fandom that's critical of how these characters are written and presented to us, and it's so disingenuous to say that it's because it's a woman or because it's this person is this color that we don't like them, when we can so easily point out things that they're not well written characters. When you talk about Abeloth, like you brought up, for those of you that don't know, Abeloth is essentially an ancient force entity, and it's almost impossible to kill her. She is extremely powerful. She's probably overpowered, to be quite fair. Yes. But they were looking for a different way to go in the Expanded Universe. And it took the combined power of Luke Skywalker, Darth Krayt, Jaina Solo, Kip Duran, Saba Sabatine, Ben Skywalker, Vistara Kai.
The list goes on and on. I've seen her be described as like the last boss in a Final Fantasy game, and I think that sums her up perfectly. Like, she is broken. Like, you have the Jedi who have discovered this Sith that have been, out of the game for 1,000 years, the Lost Tribe, and they have to team up with the Jedi, as well as Darth Krayt's Rule of One. It's an entirely, separate faction of Sith to try and take on this chick, and she's just brokenly, like, that's how strong she is. She's overpowered. But just to kind of maybe explain who she is a little bit more, if you think of because I assume pretty much most people have seen TCW by this stage. You get the Mortis arc. You got the father the daughter, the son. Well, she's the mother. And she's stronger than all three of them. They're scared of her. They locked her up.
Yeah, she's crazy, right? She's uncontrollable. She is chaos. That is what she is. She represents chaos in that family. And they locked her up, and she gets released and gets set out on the galaxy. And it does take the combined power of essentially every like competent Force user in the galaxy to bring her down. And even then, she's not done forever. That's why they go on the search for the dagger of Mortis, which we're gonna see in Rise of Skywalker if the Sith dagger has anything to do with the dagger Mortis, but that's not really why we're here. I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to use that, considering it's in TCW, so it is technically canon and Legends. But yeah, and that's an example of like someone who's presented as an extremely overpowered character, and it's a female, but you don't care that it's a female. You care about the story. One of the reasons some people had an issue with Abeloth was because of how she was written. But most people, bar none, thought it was a very intriguing story arc, and weren't sitting making videos about Abeloth because she's a fairly well written character.
I agree. You could argue she kind of isn't very Star Warsy, hence the Final Fantasy reference and all that. And just how overpowered she is as well. But the fact her gender has nothing to do with why she's overpowered or anything like that. And when it comes to Rey, if you dare make any criticism against the character Rey, which I defended all the way leading up to the Force Last Jedi, you're instantly labeled as a sexist. But then if I turn around and go, yeah, but I'm a big fan of Jaina Solo and Abeloth's godly overpowered, like how does that work? How does that work? But that's just where it is at the moment, which I think is a real shame, because it's a massive disservice to all these other characters and all these people. Like we'll talk about Troy Denning before we hit record here. It's a disservice to people like him and the stuff he was able to create. Like Satele Shan, we just had Onslaught come out. She's an amazing character. Satele is probably, you could argue, top 10 of all time in Star Wars. If someone said she was in their top 10, I could respect that fully.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing female character. She's an amazing character in general. So I've never really, all these years, I've never really understood this argument of you must hate her because of her gender. So, no, I hate her because she's really, really badly written, and I can compare her. And this is the other thing, I can make comparisons from Rey to Abeloth, Satele, Bastila, Jaina, Vistara, Tenelka, yada 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 yada, Mara freaking Jade. So I've never really got that argument. And then again, I think you knocked it out of the park with comparing Natasi Dala to Holdo.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's how these characters are presented. When in the lead up to The Force Awakens, you had Captain Phasma, who turned out had no important role in anything whatsoever, that's marketed as the first female Star Wars villain. When we're like, bitch, please. Like, we've had so many great characters in the Star Wars expanding universe for a long time that are leaps and bounds better than anything you showed us with Captain Phasma. So that's one of the irritating things as well.
Yeah, and then look at a character like, okay, look, KOTOR 2, right? Who is the main villain in KOTOR 2?
Darth Treya.
Female, easily the deepest character in all of Star Wars, bar none. I can't even think of a character that's close to being as complex as her.
And the protagonist is a female, Mitra Surik, the exile.
And look at them; they're both amazing. Darth Treya, like holy shit. Darth, you look up Darth Treya on YouTube, there's like 2-3 hour videos on her because there's just so freaking much to talk about. And all those videos, they always say, I'm probably gonna need a little part 2 to this because she's just that deep and complex. Whereas Rey, she isn't. She's just a poorly written character, and it's got nothing to do with her gender. It's just she's a shit character. At the end of the day, that's what she is. It's such a shame, because she could have been something really special. I feel bad for Daisy Ridley to an extent. I feel bad for all those people. I feel like they've all been done a bit of a disservice, personally.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. I think that you can argue that Kylo is the most interesting, maybe, of this new group, just because they've actually given him some path, even though it's stupid. They've given him some things to make you think about why he turned out the way he is and things like that. Whereas so many of these other guys, like I feel bad for Oscar Isaacs, who is an incredible actor, and He's given a character who could have been great in Poe Dameron. And, you know, we get what we got from him. He doesn't do really anything in The Force Awakens. And then his character completely shifts in The Last Jedi. You have Finn, who had the same story arc twice. You have Rose Tico, who was, basically useless. So yeah, I do feel bad. You're right. I do feel bad for these characters. It has nothing, our criticisms don't have anything to do with their gender. It has to do with the storytelling.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So we just kind of wanted to get together and talk to you guys a little bit, share with you some stories from the Star Wars expanded universe about some great female characters. And if you guys are looking to read something that has a great female character, I'm sure both of us can give you some great recommendations if you head to our channels or hit us up on Twitter. Do you have anything else to say, Lethal?
It's got nothing to do with gender. That's all I got.
Bottom line, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for some more Star Wars Expanded Universe content on this channel and on our personal channels. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell for notifications, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Hooroo.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy from geeksandgamers.com, and if you're a fan of Geeks and Gamers, please go to our website, visit our merchandise store. We have t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, tank tops, and in the very near future, we're going to have many more products for you to choose from. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.